What's up, horror fans? It's Danny from the Lassercast, and for the 2+ years that Pete and I have been doing this channel, I've been championing foreign horror. I love foreign horror. I think there's so much to get out of it if you're a horror movie fan, and I need to talk about the latest foreign horror film that I just saw, and that is Speak No Evil, streaming now on Shudder. This movie is a Dutch-Danish film co-written and directed by Christian Tafdrup. I hope I said that right. I'm not going to try to say the names of the people in the cast, but everyone in this cast is fantastic. What I love the most about horror movies, foreign horror films, is that they have the ability to go places where most American horror movies don't. When we get an American horror film like Barbarian, for instance, which is out in theaters now, that goes there, it shocks me, and I end up loving those films because they've gone that extra step. You don't see that often in American horror, and that's why I always try to find these hidden gems from around the world. This movie it's done by a Danish filmmaker, and basically the plot of this movie is a Danish couple that has a young daughter meets a Dutch couple that has a young son on an Italian vacation. They're part of a large group. They meet, they talk, they share information, and then sometime later, the Dutch family invites the Danish family to come and stay with them for a few days on a vacation. And it seems pleasant and everything, but you know right away that there is something going on here. There is something under the under the skin of this Dutch family. Their son, they say, has this disease that his tongue was not fully formed, so he doesn't speak, and he struggles to communicate. There is the music and the acting. You know something is going on. And for an hour straight, this movie builds on that tension to an ending that you probably can guess where the movie is going. You know, a lot of horror movies will try to lure you in with a false sense of security and then throw that twist ending out at you. This movie doesn't do that. This movie basically lets you know right away with the musical cues and just with some of the interactions between these two families that there's something going on here, and it's going to lead someplace very bad and very dark when we get to that. In many ways, this movie felt like The Strangers, where you know walking into The Strangers what's going to happen. You know that the couple in the house, who you are supposed to like and follow as the protagonists, you know something terrible is going to happen to them. And you just have to sit there and let yourself get tricked into thinking, no. This is Liv Tyler. You know, these are actors I know. They're the protagonists. There's going to be a twist later. And then there isn't. And The Strangers ends, and you just are like, you're just completely deflated as a viewer because, yeah, it's just that dark. Well, Speak No Evil is very similar because this movie does not make any attempts to trick you. You are lured in with this feeling of dread that builds for an hour straight, where maybe even longer than an hour and 10 minutes. This movie is about an hour and 35 minutes long. And for about an hour and 10 minutes, you're just sitting there and you're clenching your fists and you're almost screaming at the screen at this Danish family. Get the fuck out. Just leave. Something is going on. There's something wrong about this family, even though it's not very overt. It's very subtle. It's very hidden. But you know it. And you know where the movie is going to go. And you're just helpless as the viewer to watch it. And then the movie frickin' goes there. And I won't spoil the ending, but the only thing I knew about this movie going in was what I had read on Twitter and what I had read. I hadn't seen any reviews, full reviews of the movie, so I didn't know any plot details, but all I knew was, oh my God, the ending of this movie is fucking brutal. And knowing that, and sitting there and watching this movie for the hour and 15 minutes, getting up to that buildup, it hits really, really hard. This is that foreign film that comes out where it goes there and it builds, like, you know, a lot of fanfare, and people start to say, oh, did you see that movie that came out? And I really hope that people go to Shudder and they start to watch this movie, because it's so uncomfortable and it's so well acted at points. And there are points where, as a father and as a husband, where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, what would I do if I were the character in this movie? If I were Bjorn. Bjorn is the husband, the Danish father. What would I do if I'm having these feelings, if my wife was having these feelings about this family that I was staying at? There's this level of awkwardness to it, right? Where, have you ever, like, stayed at somebody's house and you're not having the best time, but, like, what can you do? Are you going to sneak out in the middle of the night from these people that have invited you into their homes? So there's this level of, like, social awkwardness to the movie that it feels genuinely real. And then there is this absolute horror in there that this is one of those movies that's going to stay with me for a while, and I'm going to think about this for a while, and it's going to have a place in my top 10 list at the end of the year. And I feel like when people say, oh, what's the most fucked up movie you've seen lately? Speak No Evil is going to be one of the first movies on my list. It's the type of movie where, when I watch it, I instantly look up on IMDb the director, the writer, and I say, I need to maybe check out some of this person's work. The person who directed this, Christian Tafdrup, he's Danish, like I said. He has he has a horror movie that he did, or another movie he did, called A Horrible Woman, and that stars Amanda Collin, who Pete and I, we covered Raised by Wolves, the HBO show, on our sister channel, Comic Books Transformed, and we love that show, and she was one of my favorite parts of that show. So knowing that she's in a movie, one of the stars of a movie directed by the guy who just did Speak No Evil, is really going to make me want to check that movie out. This is the type of movie where I feel like this could get an American remake in a few years, and if the director who takes it on has the guts, it could be a movie that really haunts American film viewers. I would love to actually see Brian Bertino, the guy who did The Strangers. I would love to see him remake this movie, because between The Strangers and The Dark and the Wicked, that's a guy who can take this type of material and really transform it for American audiences. Now, granted, I would love American audiences to just go and watch this film, which is streaming on Shudder right now. Go watch it. But I'm also a realist, and I know that most American horror fans are not going to seek out foreign films on Shudder. So if you have Shudder, go watch Speak No Evil. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think, because I'm dying to know what other people think about this movie. If you're watching this video, if you've made it this far, give the video a like, subscribe to our channel. Pete and I are just getting into spooky season. We are covering Shudder's 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments. Episode 3 debuted yesterday. We counted down from 75 to 63. Pete has tons of author interviews. His latest interview with Keith Lansdale is up on our channel now. And I did a video kind of giving us a preview of a bunch of horror films and horror series that are coming out, both in theaters and on streaming services, as we enter into spooky season. I'm already drinking my Oktoberfest because it's the beautiful time of the year. It's fall. October is coming. Halloween is coming. It's a very exciting time for horror fans. So go watch Speak No Evil. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you very soon.